The harbor was quiet that night, the kind of quiet that made every creak of wood and splash of water seem louder than usual. Liam walked slowly along the pier, his boots echoing softly against the wooden boards. The salt air was cold and sharp, but he welcomed it. After a long journey from the city, he had arrived to inspect the old cargo docks. People in town had told him stories about strange noises and mysterious lights at midnight, but Liam was a practical man. He didn't believe in ghost stories. The docks looked abandoned in the dim light of the moon. Old crates were stacked haphazardly, and rusted chains hung from the weathered beams. The water lapped gently at the sides of the ships, rocking them slightly. Liam adjusted his coat and walked toward the edge of the pier, checking his notebook as he went. He had heard rumors that the harbor was used for illegal trade, but he assumed those were just exaggerated tales. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw movement. A soft glow flickered near one of the cargo warehouses. Curious, he turned his head and saw a girl. She was sitting on a crate, sketching the ships under the moonlight. Her long hair shimmered silver in the soft light, and her eyes were fixed on the paper in her lap. She didn't notice him at first, absorbed in her work. Liam felt a sudden pull, an unexplainable curiosity that made him want to approach her. But he paused, unsure if he should disturb her. The girl looked up, sensing his presence. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world seemed to shrink. Liam saw intelligence and quiet confidence in her gaze. She smiled softly, just enough to acknowledge him, and then quickly looked down at her sketchbook again. Something about her felt different. She wasn't just another visitor or worker at the docks. There was a mystery about her, a secret hidden behind her calm demeanor. Liam stepped closer, careful not to make a sound. That's when he noticed a small, glowing device she slipped into her bag. It was no ordinary gadget. It pulsed with a faint blue light. His curiosity grew even stronger. Before he could say anything, she stood up. Her movements were graceful, almost like she belonged to the shadows themselves. Without a word, she disappeared into the narrow alley between two warehouses. Liam hesitated, then decided to follow, but by the time he reached the alley, she was gone. Only the echo of her footsteps remained, along with the faint glow of her device that had vanished as quickly as she had. Liam leaned against the side of a crate, his mind racing. Who was she? What was that device? And why did it feel like he had just missed something very important? He pulled out his notebook and wrote down his observations. The docks, he realized, were not just old wood and water. They were alive with secrets, waiting to be discovered. The night grew colder, and the fog began to roll in from the water, curling around the piles of crates and the masts of the ships. Liam shivered, not just from the chill, but from the strange excitement that had taken root in him. There was a story here, he knew, a story that was just beginning. The girl had appeared like a spark in the darkness, and he could not shake the feeling that their paths were meant to cross again. As he walked back to his small rented room near the docks, Liam kept glancing over his shoulder. The moon reflected off the water, and in the distance, a faint light flickered almost as if it was waiting for him to return. He smiled to himself, realizing that he had never felt so curious about a place in his life. Tomorrow, he decided, he would come back. He would find her again and, maybe, uncover the secret she was hiding. That night, as the city slept, the docks held their quiet, mysterious charm. Somewhere in the shadows, Maya watched from afar, her device safely tucked away. She had noticed him too, the stranger with kind eyes and a thoughtful expression. She had seen the curiosity in him, and in that moment, A small connection formed, a connection that neither of them fully understood yet, but one that promised adventure, danger, and perhaps something more. The harbor slept under the moonlight, unaware that this night, quiet and still, had set the stage for a story that neither Liam nor Maya would ever forget. The next night, Liam returned to the docks, the cold wind brushing against his cheeks. He could still see the fog curling over the water from the previous evening, and the memory of the girl Maya lingered in his mind. He walked slowly along the pier, listening to the soft creaks of the wooden boards beneath his boots. The harbor was quiet, but tonight he felt a strange sense of anticipation, as if the docks themselves were waiting for something to happen. As he neared the same warehouse where he had first seen her, a soft humming caught his attention. Liam stopped and listened carefully. The sound was faint but melodic, carried gently by the night air. Following it, he saw her again, Maya, sitting cross-legged on a crate, sketching quietly by the dim glow of a lantern she had brought with her. Her focus on the drawing made her seem unaware of everything around her. Liam hesitated, unsure if he should approach, but the pull he felt the previous night was stronger now. "Hi," he called softly, not wanting to startle her. Maya looked up, her eyes widening in surprise. Then, as if recognizing him, she relaxed and smiled. "Oh, hi," she said, her voice gentle and calm. Liam stepped closer, keeping a careful distance. "I didn't mean to scare you. I wanted to say hello," he explained. She nodded, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "It's okay. You're not the first to wander here at night, but you're the first I've seen who seems interested in more than the usual stories," she said, glancing at him curiously. They began to talk, their words slow at first, cautious, like two people testing the water. Liam told her about his work as an engineer and his reason for being at the docks. Maya shared small details of her life, careful not to reveal too much. But as they spoke, a gentle rhythm developed, like a conversation that had started a long time ago and was simply waiting to continue. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the far end of the pier. Both of them jumped, and Liam instinctively reached for Maya's arm to steady her. A heavy crate had fallen, scattering smaller boxes across the dock. They ducked behind a stack of barrels, hearts pounding. Do you often come here alone?" Liam asked quietly, trying to keep the tension out of his voice. Maya shook her head. "Not really. I usually watch from a distance. But I need to see things for myself. Some stories can't be learned from rumors." Liam nodded, understanding. He could feel her courage, the careful bravery that allowed her to explore the docks at night despite the danger. "I think I understand," he said softly. "It's better when you see for yourself." A silence fell over them for a moment. The only sounds were the gentle slap of waves against the wooden posts and the distant cry of a seagull. Liam noticed that Maya's eyes seemed to sparkle in the lantern light, and he felt a strange warmth spread through him. There was something about her, her focus, her curiosity, her calm under pressure that drew him in. Eventually, the sounds from the crate stopped, and they emerged from their hiding place. Liam helped Maya pick up a few of the scattered boxes, and they laughed softly together, breaking the tension. The laughter was easy, natural, and for the first time, Liam felt a true connection forming. As the night grew colder, Liam realized he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay near her, to learn more about this mysterious girl who had appeared like a spark in the dark. Maya noticed the same feeling reflected in his eyes, and she felt a quiet comfort in his presence. Finally, she packed up her sketchbook and lantern. "I should go," she said reluctantly, slipping her glowing device back into her bag. It's safer if I don't stay too long. I'll see you again, Liam said before she could leave, a certainty in his voice. Maya smiled, a small but meaningful smile. Yes. I think you will. As she disappeared into the foggy shadows, Liam stood for a moment, staring at the empty pier. The night was calm again, but he felt alive in a way he hadn't expected. The docks had revealed their first secret, and in doing so, had started a story that neither of them would forget. Walking back to his room, Liam's mind replayed the evening over and over: the laugh, the way her eyes glimmered in the lantern light, the quiet bravery that seemed to surround her. He knew one thing for certain: this wasn't just a simple visit to the docks. Something bigger was unfolding, and he wanted to be a part of it. The harbor remained still under the moonlight, hiding its own secrets, but Liam felt ready to uncover them, especially if it meant seeing Maya again. The following night, Liam returned to the docks earlier than before. The fog hung low over the water, curling around the stacks of crates and the dark shapes of the moored ships. The air smelled of salt and wood, and the distant sound of waves hitting the pier added a quiet rhythm to the night. He had thought about Maya constantly since their last meeting. Her eyes, her calm confidence, and the strange device she carried had filled his thoughts. Tonight, he hoped to learn more about her. He didn't have to wait long. Near the same warehouse, he saw her again. Maya was crouched low by a pile of crates, studying something carefully. Her glowing device lay on the ground beside her, pulsing faintly in the darkness. When she looked up and saw him, she gave a small nod, acknowledging him without words. Liam smiled in return and approached quietly. "Are you always this focused?" he asked softly. Maya laughed, a light, airy sound that contrasted with the darkness around them. "I have to be. The docks have many secrets, and I want to understand them," she said. Liam's curiosity grew. "Secrets? What do you mean?" She hesitated, looking around to make sure no one was listening. Then she whispered, "There's something hidden here, illegal things being moved in and out. I've been watching for weeks. This device helps me track it." She tapped the glowing tracker with her finger. "It shows where the shipments are going. I need to stop them before someone gets hurt." Liam's eyes widened. "That's dangerous," he said. Maya nodded, her expression serious. "Yes. That's why I have to be careful. And why I don't usually let anyone know. But I trust you." Liam felt a thrill. The danger, the mystery, it was exciting, but more than that, he felt honored that she trusted him. "Then I want to help," he said without hesitation. "I can figure out things, plan with you, and keep watch. We can do this together." Maya studied him for a moment, her eyes searching his face. Then she smiled, a small but genuine smile. "Okay. We can try. But we have to be careful. One mistake and everything could go wrong." They spent the night watching the movement on the docks, keeping low behind crates and listening for sounds. The more Liam saw, the more he realized that the stories about smuggling and illegal trade were true. Shadowy figures moved crates in and out of the warehouses, always careful to avoid the light. The device pulsed softly, guiding Maya and Liam toward the most important locations. During quiet moments, they talked about lighter things. Liam asked Maya why she loved sketching ships, and she shared stories of her childhood by the harbor. He told her about the engineering projects he had worked on and his fascination with machines. Their conversation was easy, flowing naturally between serious plans and gentle laughter. Liam felt a growing admiration for her courage and intelligence, and Maya felt a similar warmth toward him. At one point, they had to duck quickly as a group of workers passed by. Liam held Maya close to keep her hidden, and for a moment, their faces were inches apart. The moonlight reflected in her eyes, and Liam felt a rush of emotions he didn't fully understand. Maya glanced at him, her cheeks slightly flushed, and she smiled softly. The moment passed, but the feeling lingered, a connection forming quietly between them. Hours passed quickly, and by the time the night began to fade, they had learned more about the hidden operations at the docks than either had expected. Liam's respect for Maya deepened, and he realized that this adventure had brought them closer than he could have imagined. He wasn't just interested in the mystery anymore, he wanted to know her, to be near her, and to share in her courage. As they parted for the night, Liam felt a strange reluctance to leave. "Tomorrow, I'll be here again," he said, his voice steady, but his heart racing. Maya smiled, tucking the device safely into her bag. "I'll be here too," she replied. "And Liam, thank you for wanting to help." He nodded, unable to find the right words to express everything he felt. Watching her disappear into the fog, he knew one thing: their story was no longer just about the docks. It was about them, trust, bravery, and something new growing quietly between their hearts. The harbor remained calm under the pale morning light, but the night had changed everything. Liam and Maya had begun to uncover the hidden truth of the docks, and in doing so, had discovered a new bond that neither danger nor darkness could erase. That night, the fog rolled in thicker than ever, curling around the ships and crates like silent ghosts. Liam and Maya moved carefully along the pier, staying close to the shadows. They had discovered new patterns in the dock operations, and the glowing tracker in Maya's bag pulsed with quiet urgency. Each step they took brought them closer to the truth and closer to danger. "Are you ready?" Maya whispered, her eyes scanning the area ahead. Liam nodded, trying to keep his voice steady. "As ready as I'll ever be." They crept toward a group of figures moving crates under a faint lantern light. The men carried boxes with practiced precision, unaware of the two observers in the shadows. Liam and Maya exchanged a glance, silently agreeing on their plan. They needed to see where the crates were going without being seen. Suddenly, a wooden plank creaked under Liam's foot. One of the men froze and glanced in their direction. Liam grabbed Maya's hand, pulling her low behind a stack of crates. Their hearts pounded in unison. The fog helped hide them, but every second felt like an eternity. "Stay close," Liam murmured. Maya nodded, pressing her hand into his as they crouched. The tracker pulsed faster now, signaling movement toward the central warehouse. They had to follow, but quietly. Every careful step they took brought them closer to the action and closer together. As they moved along the edge of the pier, one of the men noticed something: a shadow, a movement too fast to ignore. "Hey! Over there," he shouted. The group turned, spotting them for the first time. Liam grabbed Maya's hand and pulled her into a narrow alley between two warehouses. They ran without looking back, leaping over crates and ducking under ropes. The shouts of the men echoed behind them, and Liam's heart raced, not just from fear, but from the adrenaline of protecting Maya. They reached a small fishing boat tied to the dock. Liam helped Maya climb inside, and then he followed, quickly pulling the rope to release the boat. The water was cold against their hands as they paddled silently away from the warehouse, using the fog for cover. The men shouted from the pier, but the thick mist swallowed the sound. For a moment, they were safe. Liam leaned back, breathing heavily, and glanced at Maya. Her hair was damp from the mist, and her cheeks were flushed, but her eyes shone with determination. "We made it," he said, smiling despite the tension. Maya laughed softly, a sound that warmed him despite the chill of the night. "Barely," she admitted, brushing wet hair from her forehead. Their hands brushed as she did, and a spark of something unspoken passed between them. Liam looked at her, seeing her not just as a brave investigator, but as someone he cared deeply about. They drifted quietly for a few minutes, listening to the gentle slap of water against the boat. The danger had brought them closer, and the shared adrenaline had created a bond neither had expected. Liam realized that protecting Maya had become more than just part of the mission. It felt personal, urgent, and important in a way he had not anticipated. Finally, they reached a safe corner of the harbor, where the fog was thickest. They climbed out of the boat and crouched behind some barrels, catching their breath. Liam handed Maya a dry cloth to wipe her hands. She took it, smiling at him with a quiet gratitude that made his chest tighten. "You're very brave," he said, his voice low. Maya shrugged, a small smile tugging at her lips. "So are you," she replied. Then, after a pause, she added softly, "I'm glad you're here with me, Liam." The words hung in the air between them, unspoken feelings echoing louder than the shouts from the docks that had faded behind the fog. Liam wanted to say more, to tell her what he felt, but he stayed silent, letting the moment speak for itself. When they finally moved back toward the safer parts of the pier, the first hints of dawn were brushing the horizon. Liam and Maya walked side by side, their hands almost touching, each aware of the growing connection between them. The docks had been dangerous that night, but they had discovered something more than just smuggling. They had discovered trust, courage, and a quiet bond that neither of them could ignore. As they parted for the night, Liam looked back at her disappearing figure, feeling a strange mix of relief and longing. Maya turned for a brief moment and gave him a small wave, her eyes reflecting the pale light of the rising sun. In that silent gesture, both of them understood something important. Their adventure had only just begun, and whatever came next, they would face it together. The docks were quiet again, but Liam knew the shadows held more secrets and that he and Maya were ready to uncover them, side by side. The night air was calm, and the harbor was almost silent, except for the gentle lapping of water against the wooden piers. Liam and Maya sat on the edge of the dock, their legs dangling above the dark water, catching their breath after another long night of investigation. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a soft silver light across the scene, making the waves shimmer like liquid glass. They had successfully uncovered a small smuggling operation that night, and for the first time, the docks felt almost peaceful. Liam leaned back on his hands, staring at the reflection of the moon in the water. He could feel Maya's presence beside him, quiet but comforting. The adrenaline from the earlier chase had faded, leaving a warm calm that neither of them wanted to break. "You were amazing tonight," Liam said finally, glancing at her. "I don't think I've ever moved that fast in my life." Maya laughed softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You weren't so bad yourself. You kept up better than I expected." She paused and looked at him, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. I'm glad you're here with me, Liam. I don't think I could do this alone." He smiled, feeling a strange mix of pride and tenderness. "Neither could I," he admitted. "I didn't just come here for the mystery. I came because, well, I wanted to be near you. To help. And maybe, to get to know you better." Maya's cheeks warmed, and she looked down at the water, pretending to focus on the gentle waves. I'm glad, she said softly. I wanted the same. Even before tonight. A silence fell between them, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Instead, it was filled with understanding, a quiet acknowledgement of the feelings growing between them. Liam felt his heart beat a little faster, and he realized that the docks, with all their danger and secrets, had brought them together in a way he hadn't expected. I think I like being with you, Liam continued, his voice low but steady. Even when things are scary, I feel safe with you. And happy. Maya turned to him, her eyes wide but warm. I feel the same, she admitted. She took a small breath and then reached out, brushing her hand lightly against his. It was a gentle touch, full of meaning, and Liam felt a thrill run through him. They sat together quietly, letting the sound of the water fill the spaces between their words. For the first time, neither of them was focused on danger or mystery, they were focused only on each other. The moonlight made Maya's hair shine like silver, and Liam felt a deep admiration for her courage, intelligence, and kindness. After a while, Maya leaned back on her hands, her gaze drifting across the docks. It's strange, she said softly, almost to herself. I've spent so many nights here, watching, hiding, worrying, but tonight feels different. I feel lighter. Like I'm not alone anymore. Liam nodded, understanding completely. I know what you mean, he said. It's like the docks are less scary when we face them together. And it's better, somehow, when we can share the risk. Maya smiled, a small, genuine smile that made Liam's chest tighten. Yes, she agreed. Together. They stayed on the dock for hours, talking quietly about dreams, plans, and the small details of their lives. Liam shared stories from his childhood, about building small machines and exploring the city. Maya talked about her love for sketching ships and the harbor, and the way she had always been drawn to quiet, hidden places. Every word, every glance, every laugh brought them closer, weaving a connection that was strong and steady, like the ropes securing the ships to the piers. As the night deepened, the harbor seemed to hold its breath around them. The air was cool but not uncomfortable, and the moon reflected perfectly on the calm water. Liam reached out, and Maya took his hand, holding it gently. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke volumes: trust, understanding, and the quiet promise of something more. Finally, they rose to leave, knowing that dawn would soon break and that they needed rest. They walked along the dock side by side, their hands still brushing against each other. Neither spoke much, but the warmth between them was undeniable. The night had brought danger, mystery, and excitement, but it had also revealed something far more precious, a bond growing steadily, quietly, and beautifully between them. As they parted for the night, Liam watched Maya disappear into the fog, a small smile on his face. He knew that whatever challenges awaited them at the docks, they would face them together. And for the first time, he felt certain of one thing, that this secret harbor, under the moonlight, had given him something far more valuable than solving mysteries. It had given him Maya, and the beginning of a story neither of them would ever forget. The night was darker than usual, and a thin mist hung over the docks. Liam and Maya moved silently along the wooden pier, their eyes scanning for any sign of the hidden smuggling operation they had been tracking for weeks. The glowing device pulsed softly in Maya's hand, guiding them toward the heart of the activity. Tonight, they knew, was the night they would uncover the final secret. Are you ready? Maya whispered, glancing at Liam. He nodded. Yes. Let's finish this. They crept closer to the largest warehouse on the pier. The sound of voices and the shuffle of crates came faintly through the mist. Liam could feel the tension in the air, but he also felt the quiet strength of Maya beside him. They had grown used to working together, her intelligence and careful planning, his quick thinking and steady courage. Together, they were careful, but nothing could fully prepare them for what lay ahead. Peering through a crack in the warehouse wall, they saw several figures moving crates into hidden compartments. The men were methodical, clearly experienced. Liam and Maya exchanged a quick glance. "We need to be smart," Maya whispered. "No mistakes." Liam nodded and scanned the surroundings. He spotted a narrow ladder leading to the roof. "We can get a better view from above," he suggested. Maya agreed, and they climbed quietly, hearts pounding with anticipation. From their high vantage point, they could see everything. The men moved with precision, but the glowing tracker revealed patterns that the eye alone might miss. Liam pointed out a crate that seemed different from the others, heavier and locked tightly. Maya's eyes widened. "That's it," she whispered. "That's the crate carrying the main shipment. We need to know what's inside." Carefully, they planned their approach. Using shadows and crates for cover, they descended silently to the warehouse floor. Every step was measured, every breath controlled. Liam felt his pulse quicken, not just from fear, but from the excitement of being with Maya in the thick of danger. Suddenly, one of the men turned, sensing movement. Liam froze, and Maya pressed her hand against his arm. They stayed completely still, hearts racing. The man looked around and then returned to his work. Relief washed over them, and Liam realized how much he trusted Maya, how much he relied on her quick thinking and calm presence. Finally, they reached the crate. Maya used her device to scan it, revealing a hidden compartment inside. They exchanged a look of triumph. But before they could open it, a voice called from the shadows. "What are you doing here?" Liam and Maya turned to see one of the men approaching, suspicious and tense. Instinctively, Liam stepped in front of Maya. "We're just," he started, searching for words, but Maya raised a finger to her lips and nodded toward a side exit. They needed a distraction. Quickly, Liam grabbed a loose rope and threw it across a stack of crates. A loud crash echoed through the warehouse as the crates tumbled, drawing the men away for just enough time. Maya seized the moment and opened the crate, revealing the hidden shipment, stacks of stolen goods ready to be moved elsewhere. The tracker confirmed it all. "We did it," Maya whispered, her eyes shining. Liam smiled, feeling the rush of victory and the warmth of pride in being with her. As the authorities arrived to take over, Liam and Maya stood at the edge of the dock, looking out at the water. The moon reflected off the calm surface, and the danger of the night had faded, leaving a quiet peace. Liam turned to Maya, noticing the way her hair shimmered in the moonlight, the determination in her eyes softened by relief. "You were amazing," he said, gently. "I couldn't have done this without you." Maya smiled, her cheeks flushed. "And I couldn't have done it without you. We make a good team, Liam." Liam felt a surge of warmth, stronger than the cool night air. "More than a team," he said softly. I'm glad we faced this together." Maya reached out and touched his hand, a silent acknowledgement of their connection. "So am I," she replied, her voice tender. As they stood there, the docks empty and quiet once again, Maya shared a small secret. "My family used to own part of these docks," she admitted. "That's why I feel responsible for keeping them safe. I've never told anyone before, but I wanted you to know." Liam's chest tightened. He was touched by her trust. "Thank you for telling me," he said softly. I promise I'll be here to help, always. The night seemed to stretch endlessly, peaceful now after the danger and excitement. Liam and Maya walked side by side along the pier, their hands brushing occasionally, sharing quiet smiles. The docks had revealed their secrets, but they had also revealed something more: the strength of their bond, the trust between them, and the unspoken feelings growing quietly in their hearts. As they parted at the end of the night, Liam knew that the docks would always hold memories of this adventure and of Maya. And somewhere deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning of their story together. The first light of dawn stretched across the harbor, painting the sky in soft shades of pink and gold. The docks, which had felt so full of danger just the night before, now appeared calm and quiet. Liam walked beside Maya, their footsteps echoing softly against the wooden boards. The air was fresh and cool, carrying the faint smell of salt and seaweed. After weeks of mystery and adventure, the docks had given them answers and something far more important. They stopped at the edge of the pier, looking out at the calm water. The ships were still tied to the docks, swaying gently in the morning breeze. Liam turned to Maya, noticing the light in her eyes, the small smile that tugged at the corners of her lips. In that moment, he realized just how much he cared for her, not just for her bravery or her intelligence, but for who she was. I still can't believe we did it, Liam said softly. All the secrets, the chases, the risks, it's over now. Maya nodded, her eyes reflecting the golden light. Yes. And it feels different. Better. Not just because the danger is gone, but because we faced it together. They stood in silence for a moment, letting the calm of the morning fill the space between them. Then Liam reached out and took Maya's hand, holding it gently. She looked at him, a mixture of surprise and warmth in her eyes. I want you to know, he said, that whatever comes next, I want to face it with you. You've become important to me, more than I expected. Maya's cheeks warmed, and she squeezed his hand. I feel the same, Liam. I never thought I'd find someone I could trust, someone I could share everything with. But I trust you. And I want to be with you. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The docks were quiet, the water reflected the soft morning light, and the air was still, as if it too had paused to witness this moment. Liam smiled, a mixture of relief and happiness spreading through him. Then we'll face everything together, he said, his voice steady but full of feeling. They walked along the pier, hand in hand, talking quietly about small, ordinary things. They laughed about the mistakes they had made during their nights of investigation, teasing each other gently about who had tripped over crates or nearly fallen into the water. The laughter was easy, natural, and filled the morning with warmth. At one point, they stopped near an old crate, sitting side by side, looking out at the harbor. Liam noticed the way Maya's hair caught the sunlight, how her eyes sparkled with curiosity and joy. He realized that the docks, which had once been a place of shadows and danger, had become their special place, a place of trust, courage, and now, love. You know, Maya said softly, I used to come here alone, watching from the shadows, feeling responsible for everything. But now, it feels different. I don't feel alone anymore. Liam turned to her, his heart full. You're never alone, he said. Not anymore. And you won't be, as long as I'm here. She leaned slightly closer, resting her shoulder against his. The gesture was simple, but it spoke louder than words. Liam felt a quiet happiness, a sense of peace he hadn't known in weeks of chasing mysteries and uncovering secrets. This was more than victory, it was connection, trust, and the start of something lasting. As the sun rose higher, warming the docks, Liam and Maya walked slowly back toward the town. The city was waking, unaware of the adventures that had unfolded in the darkness. But Liam didn't mind. The secrets of the docks had been revealed, and in the process, they had discovered a deeper truth: the bond between two people who trusted each other completely. Before they reached the edge of the pier, Liam stopped and looked at Maya. "No matter what comes next," he said, "I want to be with you. Here, or anywhere else in the world." Maya smiled, her eyes bright and full of warmth. "I want that too," she said softly. "With all my heart." They walked the rest of the way together, hands entwined, hearts full of hope and excitement. The docks, once a place of mystery, danger, and secrets, had become a symbol of their courage, trust, and love. And as they disappeared into the light of the rising sun, it was clear that their story had only just begun, one filled with adventure, friendship, and a bond that would never be broken. The harbor remained calm, the gentle waves whispering against the piers, carrying the memory of midnight chases, hidden devices, and quiet confessions. But the greatest secret of all, the connection between Liam and Maya, was no longer hidden. It shone brightly in the morning light, ready to guide them into the future together.